This world that we as humans inhabit has been turned from a vast and beautiful living library to a desolate wasteland of death and destruction. The forces of evil have usurped the power away from humanity, destroyed the magic grail king line of genetic heritage, and instead put their own Leviathan Illuminati intruder gene line into the echelons of power, consuming humanity along the way and paving the way for their multi-generational satanic and luciferic lineages. Their haunted deceptions begin sometime in the ancient and past civilization of Atlantis. The Atlanteans were the ones who got wiped out in the flood, which is described by various peoples and described even in the most popular Abrahamic religions and the Old Testament in the Bible. Our whole history has been rewritten and edited, and we as humans have been lied to on a colossal level. Look at these images of old world architecture and feel free to speculate about the true origin of these grand and marvelous buildings. They don't look like they were built by this present civilization, but instead were inherited from a previous, more advanced civilization than our own. The ruling lineages, along with their secret societies, death cults, Brotherhood of the Snake, and systems of political control, have carefully hidden away the truth and kept it for themselves. They, who are thirsty for power above humans at all costs, even sacrificing humans in the process, creating poverty, wars, famine, all kinds of social ills and problems, and then blaming humans for the problems that they themselves have caused. These structures look like some kind of energy generators which were built with perfect symmetry, uncharacteristic of humanity's capabilities, which were very primitive when the set date of the finished building was officially written down in a make-believe historical record. These buildings were just sitting there, discovered and rebranded, used as political offices, White Houses like the ones found in the United States of America, as churches and cathedrals like the beautiful European cathedrals, and as museums. There are also temples found in the continent of Asia, which are impossible to build with such perfect symmetry by a primitive and superstitious people. Just imagine how the powers that be lie to us. They tell us that people who play in the mud with sticks and stones build these grand structures of perfect harmony and expect us to buy into their false historical records. In truth, the secret societies and structures of political control hoard away the true historical records and control the human populace as if humans are an animal flock in a farm. In a sense, they have turned this planet into a prison planet akin to a human farm, or maybe a giant corporation which buys and sells humans, trading away their labor and energy for harvest and using them as slaves who are bound to ignorance and dullness. A true cursed existence for the mortal and frail race of humanity, once great and eternal, and now reduced to a state of fear-ridden bondage and servitude. Feel free to speculate about the origins of this ancient architecture and observe some pictures. the technology of control these haunted beings have inherited from their secret death codes and Illuminati heritage is at least 100, if not 1,000, or even a couple of thousand years from the future. Their secret military projects, their black ops, and their classified operations hold very dark secrets about the true state of humanity and civilization. The powers that be hold power over the very fabric of biological bodies of humans with the technology that they have at their disposal. They have classified psychotronic weapons for psychotronic warfare and covert psychosocial control of entire societies, the technology with which they experiment on targeted individuals and entire segments of the population. There are entire cities which are a hotbed of psychotronic experiments, such as Seattle in the USA, or even entire countries which were used in the past as an experimental territory, such as my Eastern European country of Bulgaria, when it was under the dominion of Soviet Russia and the populace was heavily experimented on by the communistic tyrants in Moscow. Nowadays, these experiments happen on a worldwide scale, and the technology is officially classified, and the deeper layers of these types of human brain interfaces are linked with top secret security clearance, which only a Black Ops operative has access to. Deep underground military bases, supposed ancient and alien crafts, or back-engineered alien technology through occultic communication with the demonic and alien forces, which was given through blueprints to scientists and engineers. In a sense, these evil forces want to dominate the human being totally, controlling the mind, psyche and body, social position, financial status, and everything else connected with the life of a human being born into this civilization, which was long ago lost to humanity. We can certainly speculate as to how good humans had it in the ancient past, before the wars in Atlantis took place, before the invasion of the Archontic being, as the ancient architecture of the old world certainly points to a great past, an advanced civilization with access to free energy, no poverty, no sickness, and even the possibility of eternal life or a prolonged immortality, if such a prospect was not in reach because of certain cosmic laws which were broken even before the rise of Atlantis. The ancient and cosmic wars took place before humanity was created as a species, and humanity is not some kind of animalistic species which arose like bacteria out of mere chance, but instead it was genetically engineered to perfection, created as a perfect being by a higher intelligence, our creator species. The invader blue lines had to erase such a concept from the very mind of humanity, and so they introduced the concept of animalistic evolution and survival of the fittest as a substitute to truth, so they could more easily deceive and control the populace. Humans are now even more ignorant than they were a couple of thousand years ago during the era of Atlantis. Humanity has been dumbed down and is steadily devolving into a state of chaotic ignorance, superstition, and slavery. One could speculate that free energy is within reach and the powers that be could easily hand it down to humanity, eliminating poverty, wars, famine, and all social ills, but choose not to on purpose, as the bloodshed and misery which permeates the life on earth probably feeds them on some kind of spiritual, energetic level, as if they're feeding on our misery and suffering, so they in turn fuel the negative experiences of humans, make life hard for humans, and make humans slave away at meaningless and stupid jobs, useless labor meant for slaves and subhumans, which is termed a necessity in order to survive in this hostile and uncaring society. When one observes the structure of the deep state hierarchy, one sees the way in which people are lied to from the very beginning, kept in the dark about their true origin, birthright, and spiritual heritage. All of the secret societies depicted in this graph are intertwined into a grand conspiracy of total control over humanity. Humans are viewed as their livestock, and only a human who has become a controller and joined their club has access to real power over others. Most of their clubs are closed and accept only multi-generational Illuminati heritage, but some of them are open, such as the mafia organizations, some Masonic lodges, or lobbyist type of clubs, who allow the more evil type of person to hold political power over the less evil type of humans. This is how I would explain their way of operating in a very simple manner. It is a game of evil, a competition of who is more evil, of who has given over his body as a host to archontic, demonic and hostile forces, which are alien in origin and require human sacrifices to function. This is the reason why they have these symbols of hiding. They put a finger over their mouth as if they're hiding something and not allowed to speak. They cover their eyes because they have to be eyes wide shut, and they dominate humans in a tyrannical and merciless way, unconcerned for the welfare of society or the emotional state of individual human beings. Theirs is the way of totalitarian fascism and communism, of evil warfare, of gang stalking, and of covert mind control. Religion is a tool of control for them, not a means of helping the ascension of humans in the afterlife. They use religions as a tool of political control and mass mind control, and when they cannot use religion, they use ideology, such as the communistic ideology, which in practice never gave humans access to free energy, never stopped needless warfare, never ceased to exterminate innocent and rebellious humans, and even built concentration camps to exterminate free-thinking and spiritually gifted humans. And even in my country of Bulgaria, the evil communist regime killed innocent Bulgarians who never accepted their nasty tyranny and rebelled against the dark forces of communism, using free speech, and they lost their lives for practicing a basic human right. Even atheistic communism bans human rights and holds no respect for humans. It denies humans freedom, it censors humans, it locks away humans, and in the end it exterminates humans.